Because again, like this is, if you can't control your spending and make sure you're paying everything off on time, or you're just in a bad spot right now, focus on that. Like
Right.
take care of like the necessities in life. Get yourself into a position where maybe you can play this game. But again,
Hmm.
it's a game. I like to use the word game because this is again not necessary.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Richer Geek Podcast. Today we have Spencer Howard. He's a credit card loyalty program and travel rewards expert. So we're going to switch things up and talk about those accumulation of points. You know, everyone has it. I know everyone in the entire world has credit cards. So everyone should be doing points. He's also the founder of Straight to the Points, the go-to resource for individuals looking to demystify credit card points so they can experience traveling in luxury for business or pleasure. How you doing, Spencer?
Doing well, Mike. Thanks so much for having me.
So, I always like to start the podcast out by having you tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, don't go back to kindergarten like some of the our guests do, but a brief on who you are and how you got involved in credit card loyalty.
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you the quick version. I worked in politics, everybody's favorite, basically my sophomore year of college for then 10 years. And then towards the end of that, was working at the U.S. Travel Association and in a political role. Started reading more about travel, and for the first time was told you should take your vacation days rather than I don't know, being treated like you didn't care about the work if you took any time off. And so that was my motivation to kind of learn how to travel better. In
Mhm.
doing so, I stumbled into the points world, honestly, and it felt like stumbling into it. Became obsessed is a good way to put it. I read about 4 hours a night for about 6 months, just reading all the different fine print from credit cards, airline routing rules for using points. It's like going back to school. And I kind of came out of that realizing that I knew way more than any normal person needs,
Yeah.
but I could help other people with it. So I started freelance writing and did that for a while, ended up starting a newsletter of my own, and I've been doing that now full time since the beginning of 2021.
So, I mean, you just don't do this as a passive. You're not on this podcast and hey, I just like to look at points. So,
No.
you help people.
Yeah.
What do you help people with? Are you
Yeah.
also a travel consultant? Do you just tell people
Yeah.
this, hey, use your points? What do you
Yeah.
do for a living?
Sure. So I basically have two sides of what I do. The first is my newsletter where I send award space, specifically business and first class space on international routes for two or more people. For those who are unfamiliar with points, the more seats you try to book with points, the harder it is. The other aspect of this is figuring out the best ways to use your points so you're not wasting them. And so I break down all of that in kind of concise newsletters that give you all the tools you need to book yourself. So that's the newsletter side of things. And then I'm a travel advisor on the other side for those who like to spend money on nice hotels or cruises or luxury trains. Yeah, that's just to me they go together well. I basically say that if you've saved all this money booking with points or booking your flights with points, you can go do more fun things on the ground, whether it's a hotel, it could be restaurants. I mean, whatever you're into. So to me, again, it's
Mhm.
just points are a currency that help you get more out of the experience.
Yeah, and that's true. My wife and I go on vacations. We use points. I always say that I'll probably never pay for another hotel in my entire life, which is a good thing because I have points. So now she can go shopping. I can eat like
Yeah.
I want to, and it becomes a lot of fun. But so let me ask you this. You look at everybody's flaunting their rewards credit cards, every airline, every hotel brand. What is better? Let's say that I'm a Marriott Rewards member and United or American Airlines. Um, do I need a credit card for each? It seems like it's like, man, I'm never going to accumulate points because I'm using every flight I'm using American, every hotel I'm using Marriott, for every this I'm using another credit card because they have rewards. What is the trick here? Do you just accumulate one? What do you do?
Yeah. My general approach is to start with what we call transferable points. So basically neither an airline or a hotel card. Those just restrict you to their programs, and that can be
Mm-hmm.
limiting depending. Again, it just depends on your travel needs, but I want to have as many options as possible. If you have a card like the Capital One Venture X, you earn Capital One miles, which could be transferred to, I know, 15 plus different airlines.
Yeah.
If you have Chase Sapphire Reserve, you earn Chase Ultimate Rewards points. Those can also be transferred to airlines. I mean, same thing with Amex, Citi, Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
There's even the Built card where you can earn money or earn points on rent and transfer those points. I mean, there's just so many options that I don't see the need to focus on airlines for most people. There's niche cases, but that
Yeah.
I think keeps your options open. And we can certainly dive into why, but that to me is like the foundation. Those are also the cards where you're going to find that you'll see bigger sign up bonuses to get more points
Mhm.
off the bat. You'll also see better bonus categories to earn more points as you go. So, if you go to the grocery store and spend a lot of money, the Amex Gold earns 4x on groceries up to $25,000 a year. So like that's an easy option. If you travel a lot, you can earn 3x on like the City Premier on flights and hotels, and that one is actually 3x on gas and groceries. So it's like there's all these different cards that can help you earn 2, 3, 4, 5x points. Whether it's personal spend or if you have a small business, I think small businesses have a huge advantage because it opens you up to a whole new set of credit cards.
Well, I know it gets overwhelming a little bit, and I like the Amex Platinum because you also get lounge access, when you go through it. But
Yeah,
I've
that's another
never.
fun layer, the benefits
I know. Then
beyond the
then you have the
points.
benefits, and you always look at, okay, do I want that Chase? Do I want that or the American, Platinum? But it's like 600 a year. I don't even know
Yeah,
what it is now.
695.
695 a year. But then you look at, okay, what do I get? And will I ever
Yeah.
use this stuff?
Yep.
And it becomes just like, my God, I need a spreadsheet, or I just
Yep.
need a Spencer Howard.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of us have had spreadsheets over the year. There's now apps out there to help you keep track of things. I mean, it's become an industry in and of itself, just kind of keeping up with it all. But I think it's one of those things where you can kind of choose your path through points. You can be obsessed. Like I
Mhm.
readily admit I'm obsessed.
Mhm.
It makes it useful when I'm trying to help people, but most people don't need to be like that. And so you can really decide how you're going to approach getting cards, how you're going to approach, I guess, really just this time you're going to spend on this hobby. Because in the end, it's a hobby. It's a nice thing to have. It's not a necessary thing to have. But for me, it's like I look at three approaches to cards where you have just that keep it simple. Maybe you get 1 to 3 cards. They have some benefits like lounge access. Maybe you really make sure those cards have bonus categories that align with your spending, and you just don't think about it again. And I think
Mhm.
there's a lot of people there. I think in the points world, we see more people in the second category that I call the kind of a hub and supplement. Maybe you get 4 to 6 cards. You've built this nice hub where you're earning bonus points on basically everything you spend. You've got
Mhm.
cards for benefits. And then every so often you get a new card because who doesn't like a sign up bonus? It's the fastest way to earn points. I really think those two categories where 95 to 98% of people are. Don't quote me on that. But it's the last section is like the maximalist who basically just gets a new card every chance they get because they say, I'm never going to earn points faster than a sign up bonus. So I will just do this on repeat. And that's like, that is the most points you'll earn. It is also the most effort you're going to spend. And that's where you start to find the spreadsheets and the apps to keep track of everything. And like, more power to you. I have plenty of friends who do. I used to be like that. And it was fun. It's just, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I have a friend that I think they get a credit card every 3 or 4 months. Well,
Yep.
they spend whatever it takes in order to get that bonus. Like if you
Yep.
spend 5,000 or 10,000, you get this. And
Yep.
then they do another one, and they're like,
Yep.
hey, look, I just got another 60,000 points. Hey, I just got
Yeah.
another. And then I'm thinking, it's like, well, isn't that wreaking havoc with your credit score? Maybe,
Fun.
because
Oddly enough,
there's,
not.
and it doesn't.
That's the
No.
thing. And so the big thing we always say is like keep your oldest card open. That's the basis of your
Mhm.
average age of accounts. Make sure you're paying things off on time every time.
Mhm.
I do think sometimes the points community gets looked at as like, oh my God, they're so reckless. They're spending all this money. I'm like, no, we're the nerds who are like itemizing, like looking at every dollar we spend, making sure we don't spend any more than we have to on things, and just aggressively paying things off. We do not carry balances. And you'll find that I mean, a lot of our credit scores, mine's like 830.
Mhm.
A lot of ours are 750, 800 and above. I generally tell people to not even play this game unless you're 700, 720 plus. Because again, like this is, if you can't control your spending and make sure you're paying everything off on time, or you're just in a bad spot right now, focus on that. Like
Right.
take care of like the necessities in life. Get yourself into a position where maybe you can play this game. But again,
Mhm.
it's a game. I like to use the word game because this is again not necessary, which is something silly to say when you work in it. But I'm not really willing to risk people's financial lives to hype this up. But
Yeah.
but when you are in that position, you have so many opportunities in front of you. It becomes another currency, almost like another investment. But yeah, it's a fun game, and I think there's a lot of opportunity out there for a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. Now, let's talk about business owners also. And that's where I've extremely accelerated my points
Yeah,
because I thought it's like, oh, you know what? Why aren't my hotels using my rewards membership number? I lost, I don't know how many points for a while. All of a sudden it's like, hey,
don't you love that
GM,
light
it's
bulb
like I
moment?
have a new credit card for you. And they're like, oh, yeah, but that's not even our hotel brand. I'm like, don't worry about it. Use that credit card because it goes
That's
right
not
to my
important.
account. And now
It's
I don't know, I get 60, 70,000 points a month or something like that.
yeah,
It's crazy. So
it's
what's the important, because I know for me, but talk about that, how you can actually fast track it if you start doing that and taking advantage of the business side also.
Yeah, so I mean, you think about it with all the people or companies that run ads these days. Like you can earn 3 or 4x on digital ads if you have an Inc. Preferred or an Amex Business Gold, and that really accelerates the points earning.
Mhm.
I have clients that I've worked with who I think they have one of them has two businesses and they have an Amex Business Gold for each and an Inc. Preferred for each, so they earn 3 and 4x on, I guess, up to I think it's 300,000 in spend between the two, so 150 each year. And like that immediately, like they're clipping a million points for each business without even trying. Because like a lot of them spend, $30,000 a month on digital
Mhm.
ads. Like it's insane. So and then they just get another card for the excess when they've already hit the bonus category. So it's little things. I mean, if you do a lot of shipping, the Amex Business Gold's there. Like if you or you have, I don't know, if you've got a fleet of cars and you're filling up at the gas station, or you are
Yeah.
always going out to eat or paying for dinners or whatever, there's all these opportunities. It's all part of the business expense. It's just running the business. And I mean, let it put it to work for you. I mean, if you're doing that, you're probably working way too hard. You may as well get some nice travel out of it.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of, Marriott and Hilton's are because you have those business travel warriors. Why do they stick with one brand? And they'll
Yeah.
probably have that Hilton card or that one credit card that
Yep.
plus the reward. So they're actually
Yeah.
getting Hilton points plus the credit
Yeah.
card points, and so they're double
Yep.
dipping too.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a huge thing. I have a lot of friends who still are on the road regularly, and you'll see that they'll use like a Chase Sapphire Reserve to book their flights and hotels, and they'll earn
mhm.
3x points there. But then their top tier Hilton or Hyatt or Marriott for hotels, and they're still earning points just by staying. Same thing with flights, whether they're flying American, Alaska, United, whatever, they're earning airline miles that way while they're also earning these transferable points. So, I mean, whether you have a business where you're spending money or you're on the road and you're able to get reimbursed, like you have a lot of opportunities to kind of amp up all the points that you earn.
Yeah. Um, what are some of the big mistakes that you sit there, people, you research it, people come to you. What are some of the mistakes
Yeah.
that people do that are just like going, wow, why are these people doing this? Or
Yeah.
some of the things we just don't know about that you need to talk to us about.
Yeah. I think there's like two sides and they're very different people. There's those who jump in way too quickly and don't take time to kind of just learn some foundational pieces. It's not that hard. I have a quick start guide on my site. It kind of gets you up to speed real fast. Like it's just you want to have an understanding of where you're going. And
Mhm.
so once you kind of decide what path, if you want to be more aggressive with getting cards, then you have to know, okay, there's a lot of different rules for each bank and how do those play together. You just have to put a little more effort up front. That's fine. It's just knowing to do that. Some
Yeah.
people just dive in and then they come back and like, oh man, I can't get this card because I did X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, I know you needed to slow down, and that's
Yeah.
okay. Like we all learn sometime. And then the other side is people who are afraid to move and do something different, and a lot of times it's just people. Honestly, it's people who travel for work, and it's like, oh, I have a Delta card, so I'm just going to keep using the Delta card, and it's kind of the unknown, that the unknown is out there, and they haven't seen that it could be different, and so they just assume it's all the same, and why would I do anything differently? And so they just kind of get into a routine that's not actually doing much for them. I often take little shots at Delta, sorry, but they like, it's when they're charging 300,000 miles for a one-way business class ticket to Europe, and there's other programs that are charging 34 to 80,000. I'm like, please stop doing what you've always done. It doesn't mean it's the best way for you to do this.
Mm.
And so it's just, again, I think sometimes people are a bit slow to kind of, I know, slow on the uptake is the best way to put it. Just like they don't want to change paths, and I get it, inertia and all that. So it's easier to keep doing what you're doing. But I mean, those are the big ones. The others, I think you start getting into just being reckless with points. Not that it's truly reckless, but missing out on opportunities to get more out of them. Just
Yeah.
booking any flight because it's quote unquote free. It's not. It's just, it's still a currency. You're paying something. But I think it's understanding that if you have a certain amount of points and you don't have millions like yourself,
Mhm.
you have to consider which trip you're going to use the points on. If it's a cheap flight, maybe you want to pay cash for this one, save the points for when you're like, I don't want to spend $5,000 on those flights. So again, it's just being thoughtful is really one of the biggest keys to this, I think I can say.
Yeah, and that's good. So, we went to some of the maybe mistakes. So, what are some of the myths out there that people are like going, I'm not doing this because, the old wives' tales type of a thing. What are some of the myths
Yeah.
out there that
Yeah.
you can debunk for us?
Yeah. I mean, we already kind of touched on one, is that it's going to wreck your credit score.
Yeah.
And it's not the case as long as you're taking care of business on your end.
Hmm.
As long as you're paying things on time, keep that oldest card open. I generally find that we're all fine. Like I don't know what to say. I think people expect some like horror stories, and there are, for people who don't pay things on time. Like we've all
Yeah.
seen the interest rates on credit cards. It's brutal, which is why we're all just really aggressive about paying on time. But I think that's the biggest misconception in our space.
Yeah. And so let's get into, I've looked at this, doing these things. So, let's say I have a credit card that gives me points on something. Let's say that people have the Marriott credit card or the Hilton credit card, and they want to convert over, let's see if I can do a cruise or let's do
Yeah.
something different. What are some of the myths? Because I immediately think of, it's like, oh man, it's going to end up costing me $10,000 worth of, like, if I converted the points, if I thought about what it was, because you only get, it's one, it's 1,000 points for every $20 or something, or 1,000 points for every
Yeah.
$100 is the conversion. What are some things we have to really
Yeah.
look out for? Because some of these things you think, oh, I can get a free cruise. Well, it
Yeah.
just costs you twice as much as just paying for it.
Yeah, I think generally speaking with points, I tend to focus on flights and hotels. I think that's where the value is, especially
Mhm.
if you want to fly business or even first class internationally, like
Yeah.
put your points there.
Yeah.
They're going to cost way more than the hotel stay probably is. And that's just the nature of the game. And so that's where I tend to put my focus. I think when you see those opportunities, that when you have transferable points where banks will say like, "Oh, cash out your points for whatever gift card," just ignore
Yeah.
it. Just think points travel,
Yeah.
and
I've seen that.
specifically
It's like, okay, it's
the
going to cost me
transfers.
1,000 points to get a $100
Yeah.
gift card.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's just like, I understand why they're doing it. It's cheaper for them, whatever.
Mhm.
And some people may not care about travel, so they do it. Great. If you like travel, think about airlines. That is a huge thing. That's where you start to get the most bang for your buck. Hotels can be great, specifically Hyatt. That's the one I typically look at. It's a Chase Ultimate Rewards and a Built Rewards partner.
Mhm.
Their award rates are just, well, one, they have an award chart with set rates, so you kind of know what to expect. Other
Oh,
programs do not, and you can find hotel nights that'll cost 150,000 points a night, and
yeah.
an equivalent hotel at a Hyatt would be 45,000 points. So it's you just one, you know what you're getting, but two, you don't have to transfer as many points.
Hmm.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity there with cruises. Like personally, I say pay cash if you have it. If you don't, I mean, there's like Capital One miles can be cashed out at 1 cent per point. It's not the
Yeah.
worst thing ever, but it's also, again, it's how many points do you have? In your case, because you have so many, it may be worth cashing some out in a kind of quote unquote suboptimal way because it doesn't, you're not going to notice the impact. But for somebody who's like, every year they earn the points for next year's trip, that's where it starts to be more important to really focus on where you're going to get the most value.
Yeah, because I think I have this one credit card that it's one of those Chase cashback, and I don't even know what to use it on. And I'll just go in there once every 6 months or so. I just kind of look at it and I'm just like, oh man, I've got all these points. And then I don't need those points because you go in and say, what can I transfer these points to? And it's like restaurants and things like that and
Yeah.
whatever. But but then all of a sudden it says we could transfer, $3,200 into your checking account right now.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say that just because banks and airlines give you more option doesn't mean that they're more good options. So
Yeah.
just it's one of those things where you have to stay on top of things yourselves or just rely on somebody who is in this space all the time. There's a lot of us creating content out here who just live, eat, sleep, and breathe really points and travel. So
So I don't know if you're allowed to do this, to our listeners right now, what are some of the either the programs or the credit cards, which ones are that you recommend? That
yeah,
say, hey, if you're wanting to get into this game,
yeah.
these are like right now, these are the ones that are more bang for their buck.
Yeah, it's so there's a couple layers to this. I would say if you're just keeping it simple, at some point you need to get a Capital One Venture or Venture X. Venture X if you want lounge access at airports. I typically find the Venture X is worth it. It earns 2 points per dollar on all the things you could buy on any given day. So no, you're not getting three or four, but you're never getting one. And to me, that's a big thing. You should always be earning two or more points per dollar, and that's just an easy way to do it. Bunch of great transfer partners. Comes with the Capital One Venture X comes with a Priority Pass Select membership, which
Yeah.
provides some lounge access. There's also they've started to roll out Capital One lounges in the U.S., so there's some more lounges there. So I think that's a kind of the best bang for your buck credit card these days if you're just kind of keeping it simple. If not, I would say you want to start looking at where you're spending, and then it's a matter of like just honestly, it's a puzzle at that point. Look at the cards that are out there with transferable points and start piecing together what bonus categories are best. And these days, there's so many overlapping transfer partners between programs that you're like, you can earn Capital One miles and Amex membership rewards points, and still both of them will transfer to, Air Canada's Aeroplane program, Air France KLM Flying Blue. Like, there's all these overlaps. So it ends up just working out just the same. If you're going to be super aggressive and just like try to get all the cards, we often joke the start with Chase. Chase Bank has some restrictive rules. So if you want to get the points for those or want to get those cards and get their sign up bonuses, you kind of want to start there before moving on to other things. But
Hmm.
most people will never get to that. So just,
Yeah.
but that's there.
Yeah, I get you. And so, before I let you go, let's talk about again, everybody, Spencer Howard, straight to the point. So let's talk about your website.
Yeah.
Um, how do they get there? When they do get there, what are they going to find? How can they get some more
Yeah.
information?
So straight to the points.co. There's a couple things that I would point out. There's a quick start guide. If this is new to you and you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about,
Mhm.
that's the place to go. It is short, but it will get you kind of a quick understanding of all that you need to know to kind of keep learning. I always tell people that it's more complicated than you would like, but less complicated than you think it is. It's just you learn one piece and then that helps you learn the next piece and that helps you learn the next piece. And soon enough, it just becomes kind of fluid for you.
Mhm.
If you already have points and you want to fly in like business or first class internationally, that's where my newsletter comes in. There's a free version and a premium version. The
Mhm.
premium version lays out all the exact dates you can book when I send out alerts. I explain the best ways to use your points based on which transferable points you have. I explain how to find the award space. And yeah, we're sending like usually 4 to 5 a week at this point.
Mhm.
And that's only $99 a year. So it's, I say 27 cents a day. It is more than worth your time, I promise. But yeah, that's the paid version. The free version gets doesn't get first class alerts. It gets the business class ones 72 or so hours later. And in that one, you don't get the exact dates. You get kind of just a date range.
Yeah.
I kind of say like if you're just really good at this and don't care about missing out on opportunities, like you'll get enough out of it. But the paid version is where I kind of I think my older brother said I idiot proof the process. So I think it's overstating it a bit, but I
Yeah.
am trying to make it as easy as humanly possible for you to just see the thing you want to book, go book the thing.
So is there anything that you'd like to leave us with that maybe I didn't hit upon, something that you'd like to tell our listeners? Or did I hit
No,
it all?
I think we've really covered it. I would just say like I mean, check out the quick start guide if you haven't started
Yeah.
this yet. Like just see what it's about. It doesn't have to be all that you think about. It's just a hobby, but I think a lot of us want to travel and travel better,
Mhm.
and we often feel like we can't do it. I think a lot of us didn't grow up just traveling and doing all these fun things, and it's something new, and so it kind of feels unapproachable at times. And I just want people to know it is approachable, and there is the opportunity for you. A little work up front, and you can end up doing some really cool things. And I mean, for context, I've been to 60 plus countries in the last like I don't know 8 years.
Mhm.
And I just went to Antarctica, so I've hit my 7 continents now. So I mean, it's just amazing what you can do with the by using some points. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And, if you're 6'3", 6'4" like us and you fly to Europe in coach, you'll learn real quick how to use points to at
yeah,
least get into,
yeah,
you know, uh,
uh,
business class or something,
yeah,
so you have a little bit
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Spencer, thank you
Fly to
so much
Australia.
for, no, it's just, man, what a miserable experience in coach, but
Yeah.
economy plus is a little bit better, at least try that on some of
Yeah.
them. But
Yeah.
Spencer, it's been a pleasure having you on the Richer Geek podcast. How can everyone get a hold of you besides straight to the points.co? Are you on Instagram or
Yep.
LinkedIn? Or...
Yeah. Instagram is my most active platform. It's at straight to the points, and I try to reply to all the DMs I get. So if you have any questions, just shoot me a message.
Perfect. Spencer, thank you so much for coming on today. I hope you have a wonderful night.
Thanks so much for having me.